our second special video. The theme of this video is Freecell. In these special videos, we don't just play one game, but we also play other related games as well, making for an extra long video. The last time, we played Flower Garden and 3 of its variants. This time, we're going to be playing Freecell and 3 of its predecessors. Freecell needs no introduction. It's one of the most popular solitaire games in the world, second only to Klondike. For most people who aren't solitaire enthusiasts, if they've played one solitaire game besides Klondike, it's probably Freecell. It's noteworthy for having an extremely high win rate. Over 99% of Freecell deals can be won. But it's also not overly easy. Many of those deals require a bit of thinking in order to win. So it requires a fair bit of skill, but is still very consistently winnable, which makes it more appealing than some other games like Klondike. We're going to start by playing 4 games of Freecell, and then we're going to move on to the other games, which will be Adolf, Baker's Game, and Forecell. All of those games were invented before Freecell, but have many similarities. Alright, let's deal our first game of Freecell. This game is dealt in a tableau of 8 piles. 4 of the piles will contain 6 cards, and the other 4 will contain 7 cards. In addition, we will have 4 free cells, which I will explain once we've dealt out the tableau. Is to move all the cards to the 4 foundation piles, which I'll be stacking over here. The foundation piles start with an ace and build up in suit to king. So ace, 2, 3, 4, etc., all the way up to king in the same suit. On the tableau, we stack in descending sequence and alternating color. So a red card must be placed on a black card that is 1 rank higher. So a black 8 could be placed on a red 9. A red jack could be placed on a black queen. Only 1 card can be moved at a time. But if you manage to move all of the cards out of one of the piles, you may place any card in the empty space. In addition, there are 4 free cells, which I'll be putting over here. The free cells can contain any single card. You may place any card from the top of the pile into the free cell, and you may take the free cell out at any time and play it to a valid position on the tableau or to the foundation. Basically, the free cells are temporary holding spaces, where you can store a card for later use. That's all the rules, so let's take a look at this tableau and see if we can solve it. And we're going to start by taking this ace and moving it to the foundation. Now we want to go for the other aces. We've got one here, and one here. One thing you want to be careful of is not to use up all your Freecells too quickly. That can get you stuck really fast. Try to make moves that don't require Freecells. So I want to get to this ace right here. So I'm going to move this 9 to this 10. Now, I don't really have a red queen where I can put this right now. So I think I am going to put it into one of the Freecells. Let's do that. Now this 3, we have a 2 right here that's blocking this 4, but we can move the 2 into a Freecell. Then we move the 3 onto the 4, and then we take the 2 back out of the Freecell. Now we've got a 5, we'll move that to the Freecell, and we get our ace of clubs. We also have an empty column here, which we can pile cards into if we want. Now our other 2 aces are here and here. We can move this 8 onto this 9 right here. We are piling onto the 2, but we'll worry about that later. Let's move this 10 to a Freecell, move this 6 over to this 7, and then move this 5 from this Freecell to open it back up. Let's move this 5 to the Freecell, take our ace, and then move this king into the empty space. And now we'll take this queen out of the Freecell and put it on the king. We can take this jack here and move it on the queen. And now I'm going to start moving off this pile. So we'll move this 8 and 9 to Freecells. We'll move the 10 onto the jack, and then we'll take the 9 and the 8 out of the Freecells. We can also move this 7 onto the 8. So we're working towards this 2. I think what I'm going to do is move this 6 and 5 to the Freecells. Move this 7 to the 8. Then we'll move the 6 and the 5 back on the 7. Now we'll move the king and the 4 to the Freecells. We'll take the ace. And now the 2, 3, and 4 of spades can all be moved to the foundation. Next, let's move this 3 onto the 4 and move the 2 of clubs to the foundation. I'm going to move this 9 to the Freecell. Then I'm going to move this 7 onto the 8, this jack into the empty space. Then I'm going to move this 10 and 9 from the Freecells. Take this 2 and add it to the foundation, as well as the 3 of hearts. We can also take this 2 of diamonds, I didn't notice that before, and the 3 of clubs, and the 4 of hearts. Since our lowest black foundation is a 3, we can stack our 4s up to 2 higher. It's safe to do that because we'll never need to put a 4 onto this 5, so it's safe to move the 5 to the foundation. Likewise, since our lowest red foundation is a 2, that means we can safely put our 4s, our black 4s, onto the foundation. Let's move this king to the empty space over here to reveal the 3. Now let's move this 7 and 8 onto this 9 to reveal the 4. And we'll continue stacking up our foundations now. We need to get to this 5 of diamonds and this 5 of spades. So let's move this 7 to a Freecell. Now we still do have a little bit of a mess here with these 6s blocked underneath the 8s. So I don't want to get too... I have a lot of space, so it can be tempting to just start moving stuff around recklessly, but I don't want to do that. Let's do this. I'm going to move this 10 to the empty space. Then I'm going to put the the 8 and the 7 to the Freecells, and then move the 7 and the 8 and 9 back on top. Now let's move this queen to the Freecell, move that jack onto the queen, and now we can move this 10 and get our 5s. Let's move this queen into the empty space and then move the jack on top. We can can move this 9 onto the 10, and we get our 6 of spades. We can also take our 6 of diamonds. Now let's move this 7 to the Freecell, so we can move the 8 over here, and then the 7. We'll move this red 8 onto the black 9, and now we can take the 6 of hearts, the 6 of clubs, and it looks like we have won this first deal. So, as you can see, you have a lot of options to move your cards because you have the 4 free cells, and you also have alternate color packing. Alternate color is going to be a lot less strict than some of the other games we're going to be playing later. Many of the predecessors to Freecell use in-suit stacking, which means that you can only place cards onto cards of the same suit. So with alternating colors, every card has 2 potential locations. For example, you take the 10 of spades. This can either be placed on the jack of diamonds or the jack of hearts. But if you're stacking in suit, the 10 of spades can only be placed on the jack of spades. That's the only spot. So your options for movement are much more limited, and as a result, it can be more difficult. But we'll get to that once we start playing those games. For now, we don't have to worry about that. We've got nice, easy, alternate color stacking for the time being. Alright. So, all the hearts, ace to king, all the clubs, ace to king, all the diamonds, and all the spades. Let's shuffle up and play another one. We're probably going to play 4 deals of each game. With the Freecell, I suspect we're going to win all of them. But for the later games, we probably will lose 1 or 2. Or possibly all of them in the case of Baker's game. I'm not very good at Baker's game. But we'll see. We're playing with the classic red bicycle deck today, just because it's been a while since I used a classic bicycle deck. And they always look and feel pretty nice, so I figured may as well try it out again. We'll be using some other decks for the other games, so if the red bicycle deck is a little too standard and boring for you, we'll have some other stuff coming up. Been spending a lot of money on decks lately, and so I'm kind of trying to stop buying new decks and instead just using the decks that I've got. It's very addictive because they're fairly cheap, so it's easy to just go, oh, I'll just buy another one, oh, I'll just buy another one, oh, I'll just pick up this lot. But I don't have very much money, so I should not be spending so much on things I don't need. let's see what we've got. Our aces are here, 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 and here. Not too bad, I don't think. We can grab this first ace really quickly by just moving those two cards, and we take our ace of hearts. Now to get to this one, I think we're probably just going to move these two cards to the Freecells and take the ace. Now we can move this the 3 to the 4. Now, I think I'm probably going to want to move the king to the empty space, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to wait. Let's actually do this. We'll move this 6 here. We'll move this 3 to the Freecell. Move this 4 and 3 onto this 5. Then we'll move this king. We'll move this queen onto the king. This 5 can go here. We'll move this red king to the Freecell. And I didn't actually plan this far. Let's see. Let me think about this for a minute. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna move this 5 to the Freecell, this jack to here. Then I'm gonna move this 10 to the jack and this 9 to the 10. And now we take that ace. Now we need to get to our last ace right here. We also need to start reaching our 2s. Let's move this 9 to here and take this 2 of clubs. I'm gonna move this 8 onto this 9. This is a little tricky. I want to get this 10 over to this jack, but I don't have many free cells to do it. Let's do something else instead. Let's move this 8 here, this 9 to the empty space, and then we'll move this 10 over, and now we'll move the 9 and the 8 over. We'll move this 7, and now we'll move this 6 and 5 onto the 7. Let's move this 8 onto the 9. Now I want to move this 4 and 3 onto the red 5 over here. We'll move these 2 5s to the free cells for now, and now we'll take 2, 3, 4, and 5 of hearts. We'll move this 7 here. Now we'll move this queen and jack onto this king. I wish I had this 3 right here. Let's try this. I'm gonna move this 9 and 8 to the free cells. Move this 10 here. And I'm gonna move the 9 and 8 to the empty space. We'll move this 7. This 2 can go to the foundation. Then we'll move the 6. And now this 5 can go onto the 6. We'll move this 6 onto this red 7. Now let's move this jack and 10 to the empty space. Move this 10 to the free cell, and now we finally get our last ace. Let's move this 5 from the free cell, and move the 4 on top of it. Move the 8 and the king to the free cells, and now we can take the 3, the 4, the 5 of clubs, and the 2 of diamonds. Now let's move the king back onto that space, the queen over, and let's stack up our foundations. Alright, and have we won? It looks like we've pretty much won. We've got some weirdness in this column, but I think it's going to work itself out once we start moving stuff to the foundations. So let's just do that. We need that 7, but I think we can just move the 10 and then move the jack, and then we get the 7, and we can just move this queen to the last free cell to reveal the 9, and now we have definitely won. So that is 2 games of Freecell, both won. Freecell is not a trivially easy game, but once you've played enough of it, it's pretty easy to win most of the deals. It just takes some getting used to understand the general strategy. And then once you do, you can usually win. There is a website, I think it's freecell.net. If it's freecell.com, I'll put some text on the screen correcting myself, but I believe it's freecell.net. They track your streaks, and there are some people on there who have streaks of thousands of games. So you can win thousands of games of Freecell in a row if you know what you're doing. I don't know if I'm that good at Freecell, but I'm good enough that I win much more often than not. But now that I say that, I'm probably gonna lose one. So 2 games down. We're gonna play 2 more. Alright, let's deal out game number 3. Like I said, part of the appeal of this game is that it takes a decent amount of skill to win, but it also has an extremely high winnability rate. So if you think about something like Beleaguered Castle, it's a very skill-based game, but only 68% of the games are winnable, and that's still a really good percentage, but it still means that almost half the games that you play, you're guaranteed to lose. I mean, 68% isn't really almost half, but practically it is. Because it's very rare to hit that level of consistency for a human player. But in Freecell, you can absolutely hit close to 100% consistency in this game. It just takes some practice. Alright, let's start our next game. Our aces are here, 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 and here. Let's start by moving this queen and taking both our black aces. We can take both our black twos as well. Now we need to get to our red aces here. What's the best way to do that? Well, we can move this 5 and 4 onto that red 6. Now, let's move this queen to here, and then move this king to a Freecell. Now let's move this red jack here, and then move the black 10 off the ace. Now our last ace is right here. Let's move the red 9. Now I think what I'm going to do is move the 5, the 8, and the queen all to the Freecells. Now that might look risky, but it should be okay because we move the ace to the foundation. We move this 6 to here, and now we move the king, the queen, and the jack. And now we can take the 10 from here, move foundation and place our king from the Freecell right there. So already we've got some nice organized stacks going. This deal so far seems to be a pretty straightforward one. I think we're probably going to win it pretty easily. We still need to reach our red 2s. Let's move this red 5 here. Now we'll move this 9 to the Freecell. Take the 3 of spades. And now we'll move the 10 and the 9 into the empty space. Once we get the red jack, we can transfer these onto it. Let's go for that right now. We'll move this 7 and king to the Freecells. Move the 9 here, and now the 8. From our Freecell, this 7 can go here. We'll move the 4 to the foundation. Take our 2, and now this jack can go onto the black queen, and we can move the 10 and 9 on top of it. Now we just have to work through these 3 piles over here and this pile on the far right. I think what I want to do is move this 4 to the Freecell, move the 5 to the empty space, then move the 4 onto it, move this 6 onto the 7, move this 8 onto the 9, and now move this 5 and 4 back onto the red 6. Now let's move this red 7 from the Freecell onto the black 8, and we can move this 6 and 5 onto it. Now let's move these 2 onto the Freecells. Take our 2, 3, and 4 of hearts. Now we'll move this king from the Freecell. Then we'll move the red queen and the black jack on top of them. Let's start moving more cards to the foundation. We actually don't want to stack further than this on the blacks because our lowest diamond foundation is 2. So we don't want to surpass 4 for the time being. Let's free up our cells like this. We'll move this 8 to the cell, then that 9 onto the 10, and we can free up our cells like that. And we'll free up our last cell by moving the 5 to the foundation. I just said we didn't want to do that, but the end game is looking so straightforward that it doesn't really matter. And now we've won game number 3. Pretty smooth sailing so far. That one was particularly easy, I thought. The beginning went so smooth. Finished. Let's do one more game to finish up Freecell before moving on to our next game, which is going to be 8 off, one of the earliest predecessors to Freecell. It differs from Freecell in many ways, but it shares the same concept of having temporary holding spaces for cards. So we'll get more into that after this game. That feature of the temporary holding spaces is going to be the common thread that ties together all of the games in this episode. Similar to how the common thread in the flower garden video was the reserve. Alright, let's play our last deal of Freecell. This is a great game to learn how to play open packers, by the way. If you're used to playing Klondike, where you draw cards from a stock, this is an open game where all of the cards are dealt face up, and there's very little of a luck element compared to Klondike, where you don't know what any of the cards are. In this game, you can plan all your moves ahead of time. That's pretty common for the games that I play on this channel, because it's my favorite kind of solitaire game. But for most people who have only played Klondike, it might be a new concept to you. I would recommend this sort of game if you want something that's more puzzle-like. And if you want to get into harder versions, harder open games, my all-time favorite is Beleaguered Castle. I've uploaded 2 videos of Beleaguered Castle on my channel, as well as a variant of Beleaguered Castle called Citadel. So, but enough of that. Let's play game number 4 of Freecell. And we'll start by taking this ace of diamonds. Now our other aces are here, here, and this one all the way at the bottom. That might be a little tricky to get to, but we'll see. Right away I see we can move this 4 here, and move this 6 here. Now I'm gonna move this jack and 10 to the Freecells and take the ace of hearts. And I'm gonna move this jack here. Now we'll move the jack and the 10 back to get our Freecells back. Let's move this 4 to a Freecell and take the ace. Now we have to get to this one. We're gonna have to dig a little deep to get there. Let's move this 9 onto this jack, or sorry, the 10. I would like a black 8 to put this 7 and 6 on, but I don't know if we have one that's gonna be very accessible. This one is trapped underneath a bunch of cards, but we might be able to get to it. Actually, I see a way we might be able to at least get partially there. Let's move this 4 and 5 to the Freecell. Now we'll move this 6 to our last Freecell. Move the 7 over, and then we can put the 6, the 5, and the 4. Now let's move this 4 to the Freecell, and we'll move this 7 and 6 over. Let's move this 4 to the Freecell, and this 3 onto this 4. We'll move this 9 onto the 10 and take the 2 of hearts. One issue I'm seeing is that our 2 of spades is buried way under there. That might be tough to get to, but for the time being, I think I'm going to move this 3 to the cell, take our ace, and now I'm going to move the 4 and the 3 here. Let's move this 10 and 9 over to this red jack, and take our 2 of diamonds and our 2 of clubs. Let's take the 3 of clubs, move this 7 to the Freecell, take the 3 of diamonds, and the 4 of diamonds. Now we can move this 4 and 3 onto the 5 here. We can also take this 4 of clubs and free up our cell. I'm going to move this 10 and 9 to the Freecell, move this jack to the open space, then move this queen, jack over, and then move the 10 and the 9. Now let's move this 10 here, and move this 9 and 8 on top. Now with this open space, our 2 free cells and the open space here. Oh, actually 3 free cells, because we can move that 7. Now I think we should be able to transfer this pile here onto this stack here so we can start working towards the 2 of spades. So let's do that. So we'll do 3, 4, and 5. Now we'll move this 6 here, and we'll put the 5 and the 4 back, and the 3. This 8 and 7 can go onto this black 9. We'll move this queen into the empty space and take our 2 of spades. We can start stacking up our foundation some more. We can take this 4 from the free cell. Let's move both of these 5s to the free cells for now. Actually, we'll just move the diamonds to the foundation. Take the 3 and the 4 and the 5. It looks like we've mostly won. We do have some cards stuck above at the top that we're going to have to dig out, but I think it's going to be trivial. Like, for example, we move the 6 of hearts to the foundation. Now we can move the king and the queen here to reveal that 8. We can put this on the 8 to reveal the 7. Let's move this queen and king to the free cell. Take this. Now we'll move the queen and the jack to reveal the 6. And let's stack up our foundation some more, and I think we've basically won now. This 9 and this 10 are stuck underneath some cards, but I think once we start moving to the foundation, it's going to be pretty trivial to get them. And I think that will be our last game of Freecell for now. I'm always willing to come back to this game if people would like to see it again. But for this video, we're going to go straight into our next 3 games, starting with 8 off. But I still have to stack up the rest of these foundations before we move on to 8 off. So let's continue doing that. Games, 4 wins. I think that's a good testament to the consistency of Freecell. So, we're gonna move on now to our next game, which will be 8 off. So, 8 off is believed to be the oldest game of this family. From my research, I couldn't find an exact time frame of when it was created, but it seems like it was probably sometime in the early 1900s. Based on the story of Baker's game, which was likely inspired by this game. Freecell was invented in 1978, and this was definitely invented before that, so the rules to 8 off are pretty similar to Freecell, but differ in some key ways. And we'll do one more, and then we'll deal out our first game. Okay. So the game is dealt in a tableau of 8 piles of 6 cards each, not 4 piles of 6 cards and 4 piles of 7 cards. In this game, all the piles have the same amount of cards, unlike in Freecell. the cells. So some of the cells will start with cards in them, and we'll have to move them out if we want to use the cell for another card. Another one of the key differences is that there are 8 cells instead of 4. Now that sounds like a huge advantage, but there are some changes that offset that advantage. The first is that stacking on the tableau, as I mentioned in the Freecell portion, is done in suit. So that means every card has only one other card that it can be placed on. This 5 of hearts can only be placed on a 6 of hearts. The only other place besides the 6 of hearts you can place it is in a cell or on the foundation. So that's 8 piles of 6 cards. The last 4 go in the cells. Like that. Besides the stacking, the other major difference is that if you empty out one of the piles, you cannot place any card in the empty space. You can only place a king. So again, that sort of mitigates the advantage of having more cells. I would say this game is about the same level of difficulty as Freecell. Both of them have about a 99% win rate, but they both play pretty different in terms of strategy. So I think it's worth trying both. Aside from those differences, the game works exactly the same as Freecell. So let's get started. Our aces are here, 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 and here. This one is pretty close to the top, but actually, let's move this 8 to the cell and move this 5 here, like that. And we'll take this and move it to the foundation. Where is the 6 of hearts? It's all the way up here. Okay, well, my plan isn't going to work then. I was thinking maybe trying to get these 5 and 4 to the 6, but we have to dig all the way down if we want to do that. Where is the 3 of hearts? It's all the way over here. Okay, this is actually looking a little tricky. I'm not sure exactly which way to go. I could go for this, but I would have to move all of these to the cells. That would fill up my cells. I could get rid of the 2 once I have that, but to get rid of the 4 and 5, I would need the 3, which is buried pretty deep down there. Let's just do it and see where we end up, because I can't think of anything else. So we take the ace. This 2 can free up our cell, but now we've only got 1 cell left. So what do we do now? I could do this, move this to a cell, then move this 5 over, take the ace of spades, and now take the 2 of spades. But that doesn't really help much either. Oh, I have an idea. Let's move this 4 to the cell, move the 7 over, then the 6, and now we can take the 5 and the 4, and now we have 2 cells. We did kind of bury this 3, which was maybe not a good idea. 9 of clubs is right here. Oh, let's take this. Where's the jack of spades? Right here. Okay. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move this to a cell, and then move this over, and then bring this 8 back. Now we've got this 2. I'm gonna move it over here. And now we get our 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's also do... I want to clean all these up, but I need one more Freecell to do that. Let's move this king over, move this 4 out. Now we can move these 3 to the cells, take our 3 to the foundation, and then take 4, 5, and 6. And now we're starting to get our cells back. We can move this as well. Oh, one thing I should bring up. So often when I'm playing solitaire games, you'll hear me give the word of advice that is, don't move cards to the foundation unless you really need to. Because when you move cards to the foundation, you're taking away potential spaces for other cards. However, in games where you stack in suit, you do not have to worry about that. Because when you move a card to the foundation, you're only taking space away from one card, and it's a card that is already on the foundation. So feel free to move cards to the foundation as soon as it's possible to do so. You do not need to stack them up evenly in this game, just move them straight there and don't worry about it. Let's do this. I'm going to move this to a cell, move this 7 over, this queen over to the king, take this jack out of the cell, and we'll move these two to the cells, bring the king back into the empty space, the queen and then the jack back from the cells. This 10 can go over here. We could start working towards this last ace finally. We'll move this to a cell and then move the 9 over to the 10. And we can move the 8 as well. Finally we get our last ace and we can take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Just take them all. Don't save them. There's no reason to in a game like this. And look at that. We can take this too, and this. We're just breezing through all of our cards. And we've definitely won this one. Let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king, and 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king, and then just have to stack up these last few foundations, and we have won. So that is 8 off. That's one game. As you can see, it can be a little tricky. The strategy is a little bit different from Freecell because of the differing rules, but similar with the Freecell concept. We're gonna do 3 more as usual. So, a couple months ago, I went to see my psychiatrist, and I told her that I've been playing Solitaire, and we talked a little bit about Solitaire. And she actually told me that her grandmother was an avid player of Adolf. And ever since then, I always think about that when I'm playing this game. I just think that's pretty cool. I just didn't expect to have a Solitaire conversation with someone in real life like that. I don't know many people who are interested in Solitaire, and so I just thought it was kind of neat. Let's just do one more. Alright. Game number 2. This deck. I had to bring it back again. I have plans to use some different decks for the other games we're going to be playing, but they aren't going to be as flashy. They're going to be pretty standard decks. They're pretty cheap. The decks that I'm planning on using, like business decks. I'm actually going to bring back the American Airlines deck for our last game because I feel like that deck has good luck after we won Stonewall with it. Alright, game number 2. We started with an ace in our cells, that's lucky. We also have an ace here, and our ace of clubs is right near the top. Let's just grab it now. Move that to a cell, take the ace. Our last ace is... where is it? Here. Oh, it's also right on top. Let's just take that as well. We can take this too, and we can take this too. Let's move this jack here. Oh wait, I'm gonna wait on that actually. I don't want to bury this 2. I'm a little worried about doing that. Well, I'm still gonna move this jack. I was originally planning to move the 10 and the 9 onto it, but actually let's just do it. We'll free up those cells. We can get that 2 later. We'll move this and this to the cells, take our 2. That means we can take the 3 as well. We can take this 3 and 4 and 5 of hearts. Very nice. We can take this 4 as well. We'll take this 5, and I think now we're gonna do this. No, let's not do that quite yet. If I move these to the cells, I can't take them out because the king is covered by 2 cards right now. So I'm gonna wait before we do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move this 7 to the cells, move the king, then take the queen from the cells, and the jack like that. Now, let's move this temporarily here. I think the next thing I want to do is go for this 3 of clubs. Let's do that, like this. And we'll just move this to a cell for the time being. We'll do the same with this. And now we can take the 4 and the 5. The 6 is all the way up here. For now, let's do this. We'll take the 5, the 8, and the 9. And now we'll move the 9 and the 8 like that. We still used up a lot of my cells, but I'm hoping this is not going to be too much of a problem. I'm going to move this 8 here, then I'm going to move the jack, queen, and king of hearts. We had enough cells to do that. Let's move the 10 here. Now we'll move the 9, 8, and 7 on top. We're building up a nice heart pile right here. We can move this queen and jack onto that king now. Let's take the 6 and 7 of diamonds. I'm gonna move this king to the cell, then move this 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and now let's move the 9, 10, jack, queen of diamonds, finally take our 2 of spades, and in this empty space we're gonna put all those diamonds right back down. And now since we have the 2 of spades, we can actually stack all of our spades onto the foundation immediately. That's one of the things when the foundations stack in suit and the tableau also stacks in suit. You have a lot of situations where you can just move huge stacks of cards onto the foundation at the same time. It's pretty satisfying. And it looks like this game is won. We take the jack, queen, and king of clubs as well. And now we can take the 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king of diamonds, and the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, and king of hearts. So that's game number 2 of Adolf done. Not too difficult of a game. That one started really easy. We had lots of cards at the beginning that were very useful, like all of the aces. Pretty much took no time to get to. So far, we're completely undefeated in this special episode, both in Freecell and in Adolf. That is not going to continue, I guarantee it. I am really, really terrible at Forecell, which is going to be the game we're going to play next. Freecell and Adolf are definitely the two easiest games that we're going to be playing tonight, so let's see if we can go completely undefeated in both. That would be nice. I don't know if I have that in me though. I do occasionally lose at both games. I got lucky in Freecell and did not lose. But I could see myself choking a game of Adolf if I'm not careful. I might not have shuffled thoroughly enough. That's a lot of diamonds. Let's go again. Let's do a couple more riffles. I don't know if that's actually why that happened, but it seemed very suspicious. I really like this deck. Both the way it looks and the way it handles. I actually really like the plastic cards. I wasn't sure if I was going to like them, but I think they actually feel really nice. Cells. Alright, let's take a look at what we've got here. Our aces are here, 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 and here. Seems to make the most sense to go over this pile first since it's got two of our aces in it. Actually, I'm kind of tempted to get this one first since it's right near the top, and getting it will allow us to take this too, and we'll also be able to take this once we take the ace of clubs. Sure, let's do it. We'll move this to the cell for the time being. I thought about moving it over here, moving the 5 to the cell, and then move the 10 on top, but I don't know if that's actually worth it. We use a cell either way, so now we'll move this to a cell as well. Take this ace, and we get the 2 of clubs, and the 2 of spades, and the ace of diamonds. Pretty good start, I think. Let's move this 6 here to take the 2 of diamonds. Now I think I actually am going to move this 5 of spades to the cell so I can move this, move this 10 over and then move this 9. Now where is the 6 of clubs? I just moved it. What am I talking about? Move the 5 from the cells, the 4 right here. The 6 of spades is way over there, but we can actually take the 3, 4, and 5 of spades, revealing the ace of hearts. No, the 2 of hearts is all the way up here. That's a little annoying. I actually want to do this. I'm going to move that to the cell, then take the 3, of spades. Now I'll move the queen of clubs there and the jack of clubs on top. Move the 10 and 9 of clubs out of the cells. Now for now, we're going to move that 8 to the cells. We can move this 5 of diamonds over onto the 6. We can also move that 4, but I'm going to wait just because we don't necessarily need to do that yet. Where is the 3 of diamonds actually? It's right there. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to move the jack of spades to the cell, then take the 3, 4, 5, and 6 of diamonds and move them to the foundation. We'll move this queen. That reveals the 7 of hearts, and now we can take the 2 of hearts. Let's move this 8 of clubs, and oh, we can move all of the clubs to the foundation. That's a little helpful because now we can do this. Move the king off that king, and then move that off the 10. Now the 9 can go there. We can move the queen of spades onto the king. This 4 will go to the cells for the time being. Then we move the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh-oh. Let's move. That's a problem because we need that 3. Hang on, I have a feeling. Oh, we can't move any of the... Okay. Uh-oh. We may have made a mistake. No, we didn't. Okay. I was missing an obvious move. We're still going. I thought I might have backed myself into a corner, but I did not. Alright. We have actually won, I think. 6. Oh, wait. I need the 4. So, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 8, 9, 10. We'll move this queen over so we can take the jack, queen, and king of diamonds. I moved those to the wrong pile. That's okay. You know what I meant to do. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king of spades, and lastly the jack, queen, and king of hearts. 3 for 3 in 8 off. Do I really need to do this every game? Yes, I'm going to. Sorry. Last game of 8 off. Will we get the perfect set? 2 perfect sets in a row. That would be pretty cool. But these are 2 games that it's not really that hard to get perfect sets in. So I shouldn't let my ego get too high for that. But still, it would be cool. Once I finish this, I'm probably gonna go straight into recording Forecell. I'm planning for a long recording night. I did Freecell last night. These special episodes I usually do across multiple days. By usually, I mean the 2 times that I've done them. Just because it would be like a 4 or 5 hour recording session to try to do it all at once. That's a bit too much for me, considering I usually start recording these at like midnight. I cannot stay up till 5 a.m. playing Solitaire, unfortunately, as amazing as that sounds. Alright, let's deal our last game. we've got another easy one. Right off the bat, ace, ace, and is the 8 of spades somewhere convenient? Kind of. We're probably going to want to move this to the cell at some point anyway, so we may as well do it now. Reveal our third ace. And can we get to this one easily is the question. Let's just do it the most straightforward way, because once we take the ace, the 2, the 3, and the 4 can all go to the foundation, just like that. So a very easy start. Again, let's do this. Move the king to the cell. Take the 2 of diamonds. Now move the 7 and the queen of spades to the cell. Take the 3 of diamonds, and now we'll move the king and queen of spades into the empty space. One thing to keep in mind when you're playing a game like this is that if we were to move the 7 onto the 8, that's fine, but because we have a 4 of hearts in the same pile, that means that if we move the 7 onto the 8, these 2 cards are going to have to be moved before we can get to the 4. We can't stack up to them on the foundations because we need the 4 first before we can move these 2 to the foundations. So just be careful if you're stacking higher cards on top of lower cards of the same suit. It can get you in trouble if you're not careful. So you especially don't want to do something like put the 7 and then the 6 and then the 5, because now that's so many cards that you're going to have to move before you can get to the 4. So you can get yourself blocked like that if you're not careful. I think I'm going to move this jack here. Okay, I think I'm going to move this 9 to a cell. Take the 2 of hearts. Move this 5 of spades to a cell. Then move the jack over. Now I'm going to move the king of hearts from the cell into the empty space. Move the queen on top of it. We can take this 10 and move it onto the jack. I think I want to start working towards this jack of hearts and the 2 of clubs. So I am going to move this 7 onto the 8, I think. We'll move this 10 onto this jack. Now let's move this 10 to a cell and then move the jack and 10 of hearts onto the queen. Now we can take the 2 of clubs. Now we're not going to move the 9, the 8, and the 7 onto the 10 of clubs because it's on top of the 5 of clubs. So the reason I just said we don't want to do that. Instead, I'm going to see if maybe we can get this jack and 10 onto this queen, and even better would be if we can get this queen onto this king. Here, let's do it like this. Move the 7 and 8 of spades into the cells, and then move the queen into the cell as well. Move this 4 of diamonds onto the foundation, then we can move the queen of clubs onto the king. Then we can use the cell to move the jack and 10 of clubs, and now 9, 8, and 7 of clubs, and 6 of clubs. This 9 of hearts can be placed on the 10. That frees the 3, which we can move to the foundation. The 3 of clubs can also go to the foundation. And once we get this 4 of clubs, we can stack up all of the clubs that we have here onto the foundation. We might be able to actually do that by moving this 8 and 7 of hearts onto the 9. Let's move this 5 here, move this king to the empty space, then move the queen and jack of diamonds, like that. We can move the 10 onto the jack, the 4 and the 5 of hearts can go onto the foundation. Then we get the 4 of clubs, and this entire stack of clubs can go straight to the foundation. Alright, this game is looking pretty much done. Let's start getting these diamonds. And then these right here. The 5 of spades can also go, and then these 6 it so far. In this special episode, I did not do the thing. We'll do it like that instead. And you can't really see the rest of those diamonds, so I'll just do it like that. Alright, that was 8 off. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, not too difficult of a game, pretty easy to win once you know what you're doing. The next game we're going to move on to is a bit harder, and I'm probably going to lose at least one game, so if you have been disappointed not seeing me lose so far for these past 8 games, don't worry, you're gonna see some losses coming up, so let's get ready for Forecell. So, for Forecell, I'm using this Curtis deck. It's just a generic coil deck, but I like this dithered blue and white background. It reminds me of like the 80s or 90s, so I don't know what Curtis is, but we're gonna use it. So, Forecell is a game of Swedish origin, I believe. First documented in the 1940s, so predating Freecell by a while. And the original name it went by was Napoleon at St. Helena. Now, if you've played a good amount of Solitaire, then you might know that is an extremely generic Solitaire name. There are a lot of games that have gone by that name. So, in order to distinguish it, Thomas Warfield, the creator of Pretty Good Solitaire, decided to give it a new name, which was Forecell, F-O-R-E, Cell, because it is a forerunner to Freecell. Now, it is a lot harder than the previous 2 games I played. Hopefully we'll win at least one game. I would not be surprised if we lose 3 or possibly even 4 out of the games that we play. But we'll see. Let's deal out the first game, and I will explain the differences between Forecell and the other games we've played tonight. So this game is sort of a halfway point between Freecell and Adolf. It contains elements of both of them. Like Adolf, it has 8 piles of 6 cards each. And also like Adolf, the 4 extra cards are dealt into the cells. However, unlike Adolf, there are only 4 cells. So it's more like Freecell in that regard. It's also more like Freecell in that stacking on the tableau is done in alternating color, not in suit like Adolf. So again, similar to Freecell in that regard. However, it is not similar to Freecell in one more aspect, and that is, if you empty out an entire pile, you may only place a king in that pile. So again, similar to Adolf. What really makes this game difficult is the fact that you do not start with any open cells. In order to use one of your cells, you must move cards out of it. This can make it really hard to get started, and looking at this right now, we do have 2 black queens, so we can move one of these jacks onto them and get our Freecell, but we have a king, which is one of the worst scenarios you can have to start a game of Forecell, because it means we're not going to get to use this cell until we've emptied out an entire pile. And I'm looking over here, both our black 10s are also at the bottom of their piles, which means we're not going to get to use this cell either, because we have no other place to put a red 9, so looking pretty tough already. I don't know if this one will be winnable, but let's just take a look. I mean, I'm thinking about maybe seeing if I can get to this ace, but I don't know how we do that. We can move this 7 to here, but this 2, it would have to go to one of the cells because we can't get to this 3 or that 3. There's no red 5 that we could potentially move this to. This one's right here underneath a king that we can't move. The other one is in the pile that we're trying to access, so that's no good. God, this looks rough. If we move the 2 to the cells, we have nowhere for this 8. We would need a black 9. We have one here, but it's stuck under a black 8 that we can't move. Where's the other black 9? It's in the same pile deeper down. This is a horrible deal. And then we would have to get past this red 4. No black 5 that we can use. They're both in this pile again. Oh man, this is maybe the worst possible deal we could have started with. Let's just open up this cell and kind of weigh our options here, if we have any. And we'll make this move too, I guess. But we can't get past this. Well, let's see. What if we move the king to the cell, take the ace? This 4 can go to the 5, we move the 2 to the 3, but that doesn't lead us anywhere. We got this red jack, I guess we can move the red jack. Okay, hang on, we move, okay, let's do this line. This is the only line I see. So I'm just gonna do it, and we're gonna see where it goes. Probably nowhere, but we'll go on this journey together. So we can move this 3, this 2, this jack can go over here. We move this. We can take the 2. And now I think this is where our fun ends. I don't know any possible thing we can do from here. I don't think we have a single move remaining. We can move, okay, we can move this 6 here, but then that doesn't lead to anything. Okay, well, that was game 1 of Forecell. That didn't last very long. Hopefully the other games will be a bit better. But I think that is a good showcase of the game because it shows how if you get unlucky with the cards in your cells, it can just totally block you from having any movement at the start. And that is just a part of this game. So rather than say, oh, I'm not going to count that game, we're going to do another one because that one was so short, I am going to count that one because that is just a natural part of this game. It's just what happens sometimes. Note that I've read that this game has a theoretical win rate of 85%. Suffice to say, my win rate is nowhere close to that. I think my win rate on the Ultimate Solitaire collection is like 30%. So in theory, we should win at least one game tonight, if we're going by that 30% win rate. But win rates do not always work perfectly like that. It is entirely possible we get 4 duds, and I would not be surprised. This game is so hard for me. Okay, let's do game number 2 and hope it goes a little bit better. I also don't really mind counting that as a game because I've already started doing editing on the first 2 games, and this is going to be a long one. This is going to be longer than the Flower Garden one for sure. So if we can put the 10, the 9, or the queen anywhere. If we could move the 9, we could... Oh wait, no, we would need a black 9. Black 9s are here and here. Okay, maybe. Do we have a red 4? Or a black 10? Oh, black 10 is on the cell, so we would need a red jack. We have one here. Okay, I'm wondering if maybe we can do a little work here. So we move this 7 to the 8. This 3 goes to the 4, opens up our cell. And then we move the king into the cell. The 10 goes to the jack, and then the 9 also goes to the jack, and that gives us 2 open cells. But then we have a king in our cells, which is not ideal. And we're stacking on top of this ace, which I also don't like. Where is the 2 of spades? It's right here, okay. Well, I'm going to do that because I would like to have 2 cells. That sounds nice to have. So, we've got 2 cells. We can get this ace by moving this 7 here. I just want to make sure I actually want to do that. I might not want to because I might, if we can get to this king, we can move the 8, or we can move the queen and then get another cell. Okay, hang on. I might have an idea. Oh, but my idea would get another king in our cells, and I think that's just a bad time. I was thinking maybe moving this 8 and this king to the cells, bring the 8 back onto the 9, so that gets us a cell, then we can move the 7 over and get the ace. Honestly, moving the king to the cells, though, we're gonna want to get the king off this pile anyways. It's just that now we need to empty out a pile. Hang on, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move this 8 and this 7 because I want to open that 4. Move this there. Now I'm gonna do what I just said. I'm gonna move the 8 and the king to the cells. Bring this back. Move this 7 here. Grab this. Move it to our foundation. Bring this to the cells. Take this. And now move this back. I don't know if that actually got us anywhere though. Oh wait, I might have an idea. Let's move this 8 and 7 onto the 9. We'll move this 9 to the cell. 6 here, 6 here, 5 here, king, queen. Okay, we've got 2 cells. We've got a king in the bottom, which is really ideal because, like I said, it's so bad to be stacking kings on top of stuff, or stacking stuff on top of kings that have cards below them. So if you can get a king on the bottom, it's very nice. Where's our other black 9? Why can't I? Oh, it's in. Okay, now I think I'm gonna move this to the foundation and move this 3 over. Now I see how we can get that ace, but it would use a cell. It would also bury this 10 more, which means we would have a hard time getting that out of our cells. And getting this ace wouldn't matter that much because the 2 is still buried under here anyways. Well, we might be able to get to it, but again, that would use a cell. I don't know. Oh, this game is so hard. This is one of the harder games I've played on the channel for sure. Hang on, let's do this. Uh-oh. I don't think I planned this correctly. I think that was a bad idea. I thought about putting the 4 and the 5 here, or the 4 and the 3, but I forgot this was a black, not a red. Uh-oh. Oh no. I think I blew it. Oh, that's annoying. I didn't plan that correctly, and I think now it's just over. Oh wait, I can... Okay. So I still have a cell. We might still be in it. Our other 2 aces are still not in a good spot. Here, let's move this 4 and 5 over. Okay, oh boy. I don't think this goes anywhere, but I don't know what else to do. This game makes my brain hurt. But, yeah, now what? I think I'm gonna worry back. Okay, so I guess I should explain this. Worrying back is taking cards from the foundation and moving them back onto the tableau. I normally don't do it, but I don't see any other way to get out of this situation I put myself in. My rule for worrying back is that I generally try not to do it, but if I put myself in a situation where there's no other way out, I will do it. So I think I'm just gonna do it. I don't even think I'm gonna win this game anyways, so... Okay, let's see. We take this ace, 2, this jack can go here, then we play the king and the queen. We can take this is safe. We have all the aces, so taking all the 3s is safe. Let's do this. I'm gonna move this to the cell, move the 10 over here, and then the 9 onto the 10. I'm gonna take this 4 and this 5, move this king over, move this to the cell, then I'm gonna move this 8 here, then the 7, then the 6. Okay. This actually... Did we actually make this come back? I shouldn't get my hopes up. We still have a lot of work to do if we're gonna come back. Our plaques are up to 3, so we can stack our foundations up to 5 safely. Now we can decide where we want to go from here. And I think I might know at least a little bit. I'm gonna do this 7 and 6 to the cells. Take that 2. Move this 4 over here. And then the 5 and the 4 here. Actually, we can stack that to the foundation. I think we're actually gonna win. I had to worry back though, so I'm gonna consider it a half win. So, let's stack up. I still need to get to this 3. Uh-oh, we're blocked by the diamonds. And that's all we have right now. We might not have actually won. I might have spoke too soon. Oh no, I think we lost. Wait, maybe not. Move this 6 and 5 here. Take this 7. Now move the 6 and the 7 back. 6, 7, and 5. Oh no. Where's the other jack? Oh, it's here, right? I actually don't know what we do from here. Okay, hang on. Move this to the cell. Take the 5. Move this to the cell. 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we move 9 and 10 to the cells. Move this jack, and then move the 10 and 9 back. Now we take the 8 and the 3. Okay, we did win. Nice. But, like I said, I'm gonna consider it a half win. Because I would have lost if I didn't worry back. But I think that's okay. We'll see if we can get a more legitimate win. Now, I guess I should note that when I say legitimate, it's totally up to you, right? Solitaire it's a single player game, so you make your own rules basically. If a lot of people allow worrying back now, that's totally fine. And if you think that's fine when you play, you're totally allowed to think that and play by whatever rules you think are the most fun. Personally, I think it's more fun to try to avoid worrying back whenever possible. But that's just my opinion. So when I play, I try to avoid it. But that's the beauty of Solitaire. Ultimately, the rules are up to you. So, we've got 1 loss, 1 half win. Let's see if we can get 1 full win. I would be very happy if we could win 2 games, I've recorded, I think, 11 solitaire games before this, and I think that is the first time in any video that I've had to worry back, which is a little surprising to me. I thought that would have come up sooner by now, but I don't think I've ever had a situation where I was blocked, and the only way to resolve it was to worry back. But it was bound to happen. We won a game, so we'll try to be a little thorough with the shuffling. We'll do one more riffle, then we'll try game number 3 of Forecell. These are a little high up. I don't know if I'm going to have room for all my cells and foundations and stuff. Cells 4, 2, 3, and ace. This is a great start because we take this ace, move the 2 out of the cell, the other ace goes straight to the cell, and then we can move this 3 here and get that cell if that's what we want to do, but we're going to wait and see if that's actually the decision we want to make. Because I see this 2 here, so I'm wondering if we want to wait before we move that 3 over. Is there a black 6 that is easily accessible? There's one here, and the other one's at the bottom right here. So not really. Where are red jacks? One is here, the other one is here. Okay, well I was thinking about moving that jack to the queen, but since our only red jack is under that queen, I don't know if we want to do that. I'm kind of thinking about doing this. That to the cell, that to the cell, move this queen over, and then this jack. It is a little bad that I'm doing this. I'm hoping that's not going to be something I'm going to regret, but now let's move this 3 and 2, get those cells. We'll move this, and then this 10 can go here. Move this to a cell, because once we take the ace, we can immediately take it out. And we'll take the 3 as well, because we have both black aces, so that's safe. I want the ace of hearts, so I can take this and this. And I can also take right now, I can actually take this if I want to get that cell. I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to wait till I actually want to use that cell before I do that. Although, I'm thinking I might want to do that right now. Actually, where's our best black 9? This one is pretty deep down. Where's the other one? Why can't I find it? Oh, it's in the same pile, right here. Okay, I think I'm going to do this. Move that to a cell, move this to the foundation. Then move this jack and queen to the cell, move this 9 to here. This king goes here, queen, jack. Move, which 10 do I want to do? This one or this one? This is the most easy one to get to, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily the better one to do. Although just looking at these piles, I think this one, it's got all these hearts in it. I don't want all those low-ish hearts getting stuck under there, so I think I'm just going to do that one. I'm going to do this, move the 6, queen over, and then move this back. We don't make any progress really towards the ace, but I think it'll be better to have these 2 together. Our black 8s are or sorry, our red 8s. We have one here, the other one is here. So, yeah, let's do it, I think. King and queen to cells. This goes here, and then we move these over like that. This 8 can go. I'm gonna do this one because I think these early clubs are more important. Take the ace, take the 2 and 3. We can take this 3 as well. And our red foundations are up to 3, so we can safely go up to 5 actually. I'm gonna take this to the cells so I can do this. And now we can move this over and free up all these clubs. Let's do this, move this king. So we can move that 8 onto the 9. Then the king goes there and the queen on top. Let's do this. 3 to the cell, 4 to foundation, 5 to the cell. And I think we're gonna move the 10 also to the cell for now. Then we take this 2, 3, and 4. We can go up to 6 because our red foundations are up to 4. And now let's take this 5. We can move this jack. Wait, let's not do that yet. We can take this. I want to get to this king. So we can move this queen from the cells and then move the jack on top, and then the 10 can go on top of it. This is such a tricky game. Oh, let's do this. Move this 9, 8, and 7 onto the 10. Oh geez, I just ruined this pile. Okay. This 7 goes as well. Move this 5 to the foundation. This 9 can go here. I don't know if that was a good idea because that didn't actually do anything. We don't need another empty space. I'm gonna do this 7, 8, 9, and 6 to the cells. The 7 goes here. We take the 5. Awesome. I think we won. Okay. I was really worried about this game. I was very, very worried about Forecell. But this is going great so far. We lost the first one in a pretty decisive way, but it is the other two have gone pretty well. And I'm happy for that. I played a lot of practice of this game in the last couple days, and the practice almost always went very poorly. So the fact that we've got 2 wins, even if one of them was a half win, that's still way better than I was expecting to do. This is a tough game. For me, anyways. For me, it is very tough. Alright. 2 games, won. 1 game lost. Overall, this Freecell special is going great, I think. Last game of Forecell. Okay. I'm very happy with that. Whoops. This Curtis deck may be good luck like the American Airlines deck. These random cheap generic business decks, they keep working out. I have a bunch of these, so maybe I should use the others sometime too. We're gonna have to play a 2-deck game. A hard 2-deck game with those State Farm decks, maybe 40 Thieves. Or Spider. But I have never won a game of Spider with all the suits. I've won 2 suit Spider. I've won 1 suit Spider. But I've never won actual Spider. Maybe the State Farm deck is what I need. That's the key. If you're wondering why I haven't played Spider yet, that's the main reason. It's because I'm terrible at it. I want to practice it more, get a few wins under my belt before I do a video on Spider. Cells. Ace, that's good. 8, 5, and 7. We'll take this ace and this ace. We start with an open cell. That's a good sign. Can we get any of our other cells? We've got a red 9 here. We could move the 2 and then the 8. So we could get a second cell if we want one. I might end up doing that. I'm also thinking about moving this king to a cell and moving that 5 to a cell and then taking these 2s. But I don't think we have anything we can do with these. The 6 and 5, we could move the 5 from the cells onto the 6. Do we have a red 8? One's here, one's here. Both in pretty bad spots to get rid of this 7. And with the 6, I was hoping what we could do is find a red 8, move the black 7 onto it from the cells, and then this 6 could go on top. This 5 could go on top of that, or this 5, whichever one. And then this 4, that would be so nice, but of course, the card we need is buried a little bit too deep, so it's going to be hard to get to it. So I don't know if digging down here as the first thing is going to be the right choice. Maybe digging somewhere else. I don't know, I still like this. But the thing is, it uses 2 of our cells. We can get one of them back by moving the 5 over. And then we're left with 1 cell. I mean, maybe that's still helpful. We can take this 3 as well, but because we would have the ace, that would be the plan, is I would move this 5 to the cells. We would get the ace. We would get this 2, both of these 2s. And then we could take the 3, but that doesn't really help. I guess we could move... Well, we could move the queen and the jack over. I don't know, maybe I should just explore that option. Just go crazy. I'm starting to get to the point where looking too many moves in the future is getting difficult. You know what? Let's do it. Let's go a little crazy with it. This was gonna be like this. We're not gonna get the 3 because the 2 is gonna be on top of it. Okay. Where's the ace of hearts? I didn't plan this out correctly. Oh no. Okay, let's do this. Move these here. I wanted to move this 5 and 4 there, but this 3 is actually in the way. Again, I planned poorly. I'm making moves without fully considering what I'm doing, and it keeps biting me in the butt. I'm getting a little bit tired, I think. Getting rid of this does not seem like it's gonna happen because the other 6 is right here. We've got 2 kings on top of it. That's so bad. I think I made some mistakes. This 2 is also completely buried. Getting to this ace of hearts is a tall ask. Okay, well hang on. We can move this here. And then that 3 can go to the foundation. We could move these two over. Let's say we move the 8 to... No. I'm thinking about maybe trying to get to the... that doesn't help. Getting to the... Even if we did manage to get to the 2 of spades, it wouldn't help. Well, getting to the 8 might help. So let's say we move this queen and jack onto this king. The 8 goes to a cell, we move the jack here. But nowhere for the 5, no black 6s. There's this one, but we can't get to it. We would need a red 4 to move this 3 and 2 onto, but our red 4s are not in good spots. The other black 6 does not look like it's gonna happen. We would need at least one cell to get rid of this. I think I made way too many sloppy mistakes. Because I wasn't fully considering my actions. Oh, I wish we could get to one of these black 8s. I want it so bad. Yeah, let's just... This is the only path I see and I know it leads nowhere. I guess we could do this. But... Oh, wait. Okay, hang on. No, I still don't think this goes anywhere, but I mean... Okay, this is why when you're not sure, when you think a path leads to nothing, and you can't think of anything else, you do it anyways, because you might see something that you weren't expecting because you didn't think it through. I still think the game is lost, but maybe, just maybe, something can happen. Okay, hang on. Hang on a minute. Piling on this is a bad idea. I know it is, but I want... Oh, I really shouldn't have done that. There's no way I'm getting this dealt with. Well, actually, the only low card that is being covered is the ace. Well, okay, the ace of hearts is a pretty bad low card to be covered. That's not, like, a small thing. But... I don't know. Let's... if this somehow works, I don't even know. Okay, we'll move this 5 and 4 here. Put this here. Move this 10 here. Jack and queen go on the king. We'll move this here. 7 can go like that. We can start moving off this pile. This 8 can come off the cell. We can put this 7 here. This jack can come off the cell. We've got 3 cells. Does that mean anything? I don't know. Let's move this 6 and 7 over, or sorry, 6 and 5 over here. Okay, hang on. Hang on, hang on, hang on. We might be going somewhere. I had no hope for this game. I really didn't. But I think we might actually win. 8 and 7 come over here. I think I got a little too excited because I think we're starting to run out of moves. The ace of hearts is becoming a problem now, as we anticipated. Oh my god, if I had one more cell. I don't think that would help anyways. I was thinking if I had one more cell we could move these over here, but that just frees an empty space. That doesn't do anything. I think the hearts are gonna kill it. The hearts are ultimately the killer, it seems. Well, hang on. Let's try this. Take the 5 and the 6. We can take the 7 and the 8. Now, where's the 6 of diamonds? Why can't I find it? Oh, it's here. And the 8 of diamonds is here. Okay, hang on. We might still be in it. Okay, maybe. Maybe. Oh, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. Oh, if we could just get to this king, we would win. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. Is there any way I can make this work? Oh, I think it's over. Oh, we were so close. Oh my god, wait. Oh, I totally forgot about the 10. Oh my god, we won. Let's go. Oh my god, I was not expecting to win that. That's so awesome. This game was so sketchy. Wow, okay. Okay, I was absolutely not expecting to win this game. But, wow, okay. So Forecell went better than I could have ever hoped. That tends to happen somehow. I always think, I'm always so nervous going into these. I practice a bunch, and it feels like the practice always goes really badly, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start recording, and it's just gonna be terrible. But a lot of the time it just works out, and I'm so happy for that. I'm really thankful. I think probably the worst moment was Wildflower in the Flower Garden episode. That was the only time where I practiced something a lot, and it was going really well in practice, and then I started recording, and it was just a total trash fire. That was really bad, but I'm so glad Forecell went well. I was really worried about this one, but it went great. Alright. So, that was bad, but it doesn't matter. The games went well. So it doesn't matter if I did a bad job at showing off all the cards in order. Okay. So, that's it for Forecell. We are done with 3 of the 4 games, and we have a win rate of, we got 4 out of 4 wins in Freecell, 4 out of 4 wins in Adolf, and 2.5 wins out of 4 in Forecell. So the last game we're going to be playing tonight is Baker's Game, and I think it's technically considered the hardest of the games we're going to play today, but I honestly find it a little easier than Forecell personally. Alright, the American Airlines deck returns for Baker's Game. We'll see if this gives us the kind of luck that we got in Stonewall. So Baker's Game is considered the closest predecessor to Freecell. And that's because the rules of Baker's Game are almost identical to the rules of Freecell, except for one difference, which is that on the tableau, you stack in suit instead of in alternating color. So, this makes the game pretty significantly harder, I would say. It still has a fairly high win rate, so it still is very doable, but it's definitely a tougher game. But besides that, all the rules are exactly the same as Freecell. So, 4 cells. Cells start empty, 8 piles. 4 piles have 6 cards. The other 4 piles have 7. I'm just hoping we don't run out of space, because this American Airlines deck uses the jumbo print. That was a problem we kind of ran into a few times when we were playing Stonewall. My success rate with this game is not particularly good. It might be slightly more than Forecell, but I still don't win it. I don't have a close to 50% win rate. It's probably in the 30 range, 30-ish. We'll start by taking this ace, and our other aces are there, there, and there. So we stack in suit, so we have to be careful about how we do this. Let's see. If we want to get to this ace, we would need to get rid of this 8. Where's the 9 of hearts? It's right here, so not really in a spot where we can get to conveniently. Or is it? Is this the ace of... No, it's the ace of diamonds. If I could get the ace of hearts and we could get rid of this too, that would be nice. Honestly, I might do what I was thinking anyways and just put it in a cell. Never mind, it doesn't work. We still can't get to the 9. Ultimately, our goal is to get to the ace. Basically, what I was thinking about doing was move the 2 and the 5 to the cells, move this to the cell, then move this jack over here, and then move this jack from the cell back here. It would just order our cards better here, but it wouldn't really make us any progress towards getting one of the aces. So I don't know if it's really worth wasting the time. And the cells. The most straightforward thing would just be to take the 8 and put it in the cells, and then just take the ace. Where's the 2 of diamonds? It's right here. Where's the 7 of spades? It's kind of an annoying spot. And the 3 of diamonds is all the way down here. I don't think the ace of diamonds actually helps us that much right now, to be perfectly honest. I could get both of these aces, but it would require using all 4 of my... or not all 4. It would require using 3 of my cells. And I just don't know if that's worth it. Okay, hang on. When we take the 2, it reveals the 7. We can take the 6 out of the cell and put it in the 7. Okay, wait. I might have a plan. Let's see where this leads. Let's go on this ride and see where it goes. Okay, then the 6 comes back down. We do this. 10 and 9 onto the jack. This can go here. Oh, I don't know if I should have done that. Let's do this. Okay, actually this might work. Because now this can go here. We get our ace. We've got all our aces now. Let's put this here. Yeah, I think so. I think that's okay. I want to get this, but we have too many things in our cells. We would need one more cell, because we gotta get this king somewhere. Hang on, let me try this. Now, the 2 is blocked, but if we can get one more open cell somehow. Where's the 9 of hearts? It's all the way up here. That's no good. Okay, what about the 3 of diamonds? Oh, that's buried at the top. The 3 of hearts. What about the 3 of hearts? It's right here. Still not really somewhere we can get it. It's under 3 kings. Oof, I just noticed those. I think I made a mistake. Yeah, I think I messed up. Dang. I think I needed 2 cells. Move both of these into cells, and then maybe you can put this queen on here or something. Get something working like that. No. I don't think that would have worked either, but still, I think I need more cells, and I don't think I have any way to get them. Where's the 3 of clubs? It's in here. Unfortunately, I think I blew it. Like, if I did this and I put the 6 down, I need 2 cells to get both, to get the 4 and the 3 out, so I can move the 5 over. And I just can't get another cell. I don't see anything. Oh, if only I could get that too. If I could get that too, the whole game would open up and I would just win, I think. But I don't see anything, so I think I lost it. That's unfortunate. It felt like that was starting to go my way. I struggled a bit at the start, but I started to find a way out of the beginning, and then I think I made a minor tactical mistake that got me blocked. That's a shame, but we've still got 3 more games to go. We can bring it back. this video. These special episodes are so much work. I think it's because I try to get them done on the same schedule as my regular videos, so normally I get a break. You know, I record and edit a video, and then I upload it, and then I can take a couple days without doing any video stuff. And before I start on the next one. But with these special videos, I try to get them out at the same rate as my normal ones, but I have to do 4 times as much recording and editing. So I basically just have to work on it every day. I've been working on this video every day since I uploaded the No Talking Beleaguered Castle video. Either recording, or doing both recording and editing. So, I'm in the home stretch though. It's almost done. I don't want to make it sound like I'm not liking doing it though. I love long ASMR content, and I love the product of these videos. It's just a lot of work that goes into it, and I'm not even like a professional. Like, I'm still doing so much amateur stuff in terms of how I'm doing this channel, and it's already hard for me. I can't even imagine if I was trying to do a proper YouTube channel with like all the right equipment and stuff. I don't know if I could handle that. But if you're watching this, it makes it all worth it. Thank you so much. Alright, let's take this ace. Now, our other aces are there, and why can't I find the last one? There. Okay. So, how do we get to these aces without using too many of our cells? That's the trick. 10 of diamonds all the way up there, so moving this 9 to it, I'm gonna need a cell. Where's the 6 of spades? It's all the way up here, dang. I was wondering if I could get maybe this 5, 4, and 3 onto the 6, but it's pretty far down there. And I don't have spaces for all those cards. 5 of diamonds is here. I'm kind of tempted to stack on this, the 4, 5, 4, 3. But that's covering the ace of spades. That's covering the ace of spades with a bunch of spades is like the worst thing you could do. Where's the jack of clubs? Up here. Okay, I might have an idea. It's pretty much just brute forcing it. Move these 2 to the cells, then do that. Oh wait, I didn't think this through. Darn. I was gonna try to get the ace of spades and then the 2 would go off. I thought for some reason I was getting the position of the ace mixed up. I thought the ace was under the 10. Or on top of the 10, I mean. But I miscalculated. Let's do this. And now we can, okay, we can still make it work actually. Nice. And we take 2, 3, 4, and we get our cell back 5. Okay, let's do this. We take the 5. This 2 goes to the foundation, take the ace, and then I think we just, as much as I don't like stacking on that 3 of diamonds, we need our cell back. So I think I have to do that. We don't need to worry about that till we get to this 2 anyways. Wait, we actually can get to the 2 like right now. Is that what I want to do though? Well, here's the thing, is that if we do that, we still can't get to the 3 unless we have somewhere to put that 6 and 5. 7 of hearts is here. We would need another cell. Well, wait, do we? No, we don't. We can do this. So we move the jack and 10 onto the queen. We take the 2. Now we put this into the cell, the 8 of spades, then the 6 and 5. That frees up 2 of our cells. We can take the 9 and 10 now, and then we take the 3, and we can put the 9 and 10 back on there to get our 2 free cells back. Nice, we're making progress. Oh, we can take this as well, so we've got 3 free cells. Very nice. What are our next targets? Well, 5 of diamonds is here, 2 of clubs is there, 6 of spades is there, 3 of hearts is there. It's all stuff that's kind of buried. Okay, this looks scary, but it gets us 2 of our cards that we need. And it gives us an open space, so we still have some movement. Oh, we can get another cell too, like that. So we've got an open space and a cell. Let's move the king here, and then move the queen, jack, and 10 of clubs onto it, like this. Okay. The 4 of hearts is up here. The 6 of diamonds and the 2 of clubs are the 2 things we need. Again, buried under stuff. Oh, but we can actually move this 7, 6, and 5 over here. 7, 6, and 5. And now let's just move the jack to the cell. Take our 6 of diamonds and 2 of clubs. 7 of diamonds. I think we've won. Once you start to get lots of open space, that's when this game really opens up. Well, not necessarily. I shouldn't jump the gun. That's how you get sloppy. Let's do this. Okay, and the 8. This 9 can go here. Okay, I think we definitely won now. Move this king. We can take the 8, 9, 10, and jack. I don't know why I grabbed those in reverse order. Now I have to do it like this. And in this empty space, we'll just dump the 7, 6, and 5 of clubs. This can go here, this can go here. We reveal the 9 of spades. We can take the 10 from the cells. We'll put the king here. Queen can go on top. Take our 4 of hearts. Get our 3 of clubs. Last thing we need to do is get that 4 of clubs up here, but we can just take the 5 through 10 and the jack, queen, king of hearts can all go to the foundation. Alright, and there we go. We have 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, and king of clubs, jack, queen, king of spades, and queen, king of diamonds. Very nice. We won our first game of Baker's game. Well, our second game, but our first win. So, 50-50 so far. We'll see if we can keep that up for the final 2 games. Very nice. As always, as long as I win at least one, as long as I don't get shut out, I'm happy. So you can see, Baker's game is a bit trickier than Freecell. I honestly still think that Forecell is harder. I think mathematically Baker's game is technically harder than Forecell, but I personally find Forecell to be more difficult. So if you're wondering why this game is called Baker's game, I believe it's because it was popularized by a mathematician named C.L. Baker, who learned it from his father. Let's do one more quick one before we start game 3. I always try to be thorough before or after we win one. Oh, so there is a very common variation of this game. It says that empty spaces in the tableau can only be filled with kings. And this is commonly referred to as Kings Only Baker's Game. I'm not playing that today, I'm just playing the regular version, but Kings Only Baker's Game is a very common variant that you will see if you play Baker's Game a lot. Personally, to me, Baker's Game is already hard enough without the Kings Only rule, but I guess enough people like that variant that it's become quite popular, because you see it a lot in collections and things like that. So our aces are here, 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 and where's the last one? Oh, it's in this row, or this column, I mean. So, do we go for this one then? Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be good spots, or at least not immediate spots, where we can move all these cards that are blocking the aces. So the 10 of hearts is all the way up here. This is a king, so it has to go to the cell. We've got the 10 of diamonds. Where's the jack of diamonds? It's at the bottom, of course. The 6 of spades, the 7 of spades is also pretty far down there, under 2 kings. So we would have to take all 4 of these into the cells if we want to get to that ace of diamonds, and then we wouldn't even be able to get to the ace of hearts. Actually, maybe we could, because we can move the 7 of diamonds to here. That would reveal the 7 of hearts, and we can move the 6 of hearts onto that. So we could get both of those aces, but we would still be using 3 of our cells, because when we get the empty space, we can move one back, probably the king. Yeah, so that's still 3 cells for 2 aces. I don't know if that's a good deal. We do get this 2 afterwards, but then the 3 of hearts is all the way down here. I don't even know where the 2 of diamonds is. It's deep down here. So 3 cells for 2 aces and a 2 of hearts. Is that trade worth it? I don't know if it is. This seems like a pretty hard deal, just looking at it. Honestly, I have something of an idea, maybe. We're gonna do this. I don't know if... I think this is probably a bad idea. But I'm not sure what else to do. Okay, wait. There actually is something we can do. And now, the 6 of clubs. I thought I had a plan for the 6 of clubs. What was it? Oh god, did I not plan this out correctly? Oh my god, here I go again, thinking I have a plan, and then I start working. I thought I had... What happened? I swear I had a plan. Like I had something worked out, and then I started to do it, and I realized I didn't have anything. God, that's... My brain is not working tonight. Well, I think it's over. Well, the plan was going to be to take the 4 and the 3 here, and then bring the 10 back on the jack. But I think I completely discounted the 6 of clubs. I don't know why I just completely glossed over it. The 7 of clubs is all the way here. There's no way we're getting to it. I can't move this 8 and 7 over because I don't have a cell. Yeah, I lost this one. That's unfortunate. Well, 1 win, 2 losses so far. That one was definitely my fault. I totally miscalculated. That's a shame. Alright. Shuffle up for the final game of the video. Maker's Game, Game 4, the final game of this special episode. Will we end on a win? That would be so nice. That would be very, very nice. I would feel very good about this video if we ended on a win. I mean, the last special episode ended on that Stonewall win, so I don't know if we're ever going to be able to top that, but this is a pretty tough game, and I would be happy with a win. A starting ace, that's good, and another ace that's close to the top. Ooh, 2 starting aces. Okay, maybe we are set up to get a win for this final game. Hang on, I'm gonna move all the cards down because they were a bit close to the top. I'm gonna be careful with how I crop this one. Don't want to have the tops of the cards going off the top. That's always a little annoying. Okay, the last ace we're missing is right there. Now we could kind of work towards it by putting the 6 on the 7 here, but that's blocking the ace of spades. And seeing how many spades we have, I really don't want to block that right now. Where's the 4 of spades? Okay, if the 4 of spades is not in a bad spot, which it's definitely not, I think we can start this game off by absorbing a whole bunch of aces. We take a whole bunch of spades. We take the ace right there. This goes to the cell. We take the 3. This goes to the cell. And then we take the 4, 5, 6, and 7. This is an excellent start. Now we could take the last ace by just moving the 9 to the cells, but I want to wait on that. Next thing we should be looking for is for our other low cards. Now, we could get an empty space actually. Maybe worth it. Where is the 2 of diamonds? It's here. We could get it. Is it worth it though? It would require a cell. Where's the 2 of hearts? That is buried a bit deeper. That's not going to be as easy to get. I don't think it's worth going for the ace of hearts yet, because it's going to be a while before we actually get to move anything to the ace foundation. So I think it's worth it to just leave it there for now. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these like this. I'm going to take the 2 and 3, and then I'm going to move the 5 and 4 onto this 6. Now we have 2 cells in an empty space. Where's the 2 of clubs? It's right here. And where's the 3 of clubs? It's under this jack. Okay. Now, what do I want to start moving towards? As I would love to get these hearts. These hearts are all ready to go, but the 2 is here and the 3 is here, so we're a long way from making use of that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move this jack to the cell, move this 5 here, and then take the 2 of clubs. Now I really want to get to this 4, but I can't. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move this 6 and 5 into the empty space like this. Move this jack to the cell, then take the 3, 4, and 5 of clubs. We can't get the 6 yet, but I still think that was decent. We can take this 9, move it to the cell, then move the 10 and put the 9 on top. So we got 2 cells now. We could get this too, but it would require both of our cells, but I'm wondering if that's a direction we can head towards. Ooh, I'm really close to having a plan. Both of these to the foundation, queen here, jack here, and then this 3 can go here. Then we have 1 open cell. No, wait, we have none, because this would use 2 of our cells. Then the jack comes down, we have 1 open cell. And then we move. Okay, this might actually be a plan. Let's try it. I really hope I'm not miscalculating again and I'm about to make a horrible, horrible mistake. I just realized I almost went for the 2 and we don't even have the ace yet. Boy, I would have regretted that. Let's do this, put the 7 down, move the 6 and 5 on top. That's easy. Oh, we can take this 8 and 9. I didn't even realize that. Okay. I think this is looking pretty good now. Let's move the king, queen, and jack of clubs into the empty space. Let's move this 9 onto this 10. The 8 can go back. Now we move the 10 of clubs onto the jack. We can take the 4 of diamonds. And the 5, the 6, and 7 of diamonds, opening up an empty space. We move the queen there. The jack goes on top. Now we take the 9 and 8 of clubs and move them onto the 10. We've won for sure. Nice. I'm so glad we ended on a win. Okay. We can take this whole stack here. 3, 4, 5, 6 of hearts, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, and king. And we can take this whole club stack right here as well. We can just move these into our empty spaces. I think this, by the way, is why people like King's Only Baker's game, is because once you kind of unravel the ending, once you start to get some empty spaces, the whole thing just kind of unravels so quickly, and it makes the end game kind of easy. And so perhaps the purpose of King's Only Baker's game is to give the game a smoother difficulty curve where it stays challenging throughout the whole thing. Because the empty spaces don't give you such an advantage. That honestly sounds kind of interesting. Maybe I will actually play some King's Only Baker's games sometime. Anyways, that is it for our second special episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh man, these are exhausting to make. But it's definitely worth it. I really like it. Thank you so much to everyone who has liked, commented, and subscribed on my videos. I really appreciate it. The fact that anyone likes these videos is just awesome to me. I love making them. I love sharing Solitaire. And we are not stopping on this journey. We're going to be playing so many more Solitaire games. And I've got new decks coming in the mail. And it's just going to be awesome. So just thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good night, pleasant dreams, and yeah, see you later. Thanks.